One of the questions that we had recently is, do we track our calorie intake and do we encourage it with clients? Now, we have slightly different recommendations when it comes to calorie tracking, so we thought we would discuss it on camera. When do you recommend your clients track calories?
I will have the vast majority of my clients doing some form of calorie tracking, especially if their goal is to shed body fat, which happens to be, again, the majority of my clients. Now, keep in mind that I don't accept just anyone. Usually they have to meet certain standards, like they usually have some basic working knowledge of nutrition already, and they already have some level of experience with having previously tracked, which means that they're not going to be super beginner with their nutrition knowledge and behaviors. And then from there, I can say, all right, I know that if I give you a calorie target or a calorie range to hit, one, I can ensure that you're in a calorie deficit, which as we know is a needed element to achieve fat loss. And two, it's easy for me as the coach to troubleshoot what's happening. And when you report your adherence to me, I know when you've overeaten because you're telling me all this information. And then from there, I have good numerical data to work with to fine tune things as we go along.
So for me, I used to work with clients in a different way. If I was working with someone online, I think there's a greater inclination to track someone's calories because it's easier to report what someone's eating to their coach when they don't have face-to-face time. But for me, when I worked with clients, these were general public coming to the gym, often exercising for the first time. And their knowledge of nutrition was often much lower level than people who are already following us on social media. So a lot of clients, when they came to me for training, they wouldn't know what foods fit into which macronutrient group, for example. So nutrition advice needed to be more simple. I think it's good to give meticulous advice for people that need meticulous advice, but a lot of people don't necessarily have the willingness or the inclination to track calories in the first place, let alone the knowledge.
Yeah, I like that you bring that up because it really is highly dependent upon the individual, upon like what their current starting point is, what their current eating behaviors and so on are looking like, and what they're willing to do. But also, there are some risks with calorie tracking that I think all professionals and the general public should be aware of, even if you choose to use this tool in your toolbox to achieve whatever fitness goal you have. Understand that that can increase your risk of, especially psychologically, downsides like increased obsession and neurosis when it comes to tracking, because even though to some degree awareness of what and how much you're eating can be very helpful, it can also be taken too far. And I would say if it's overall increasing your stress levels and thus decreasing your quality of life, it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah, so for me, stemming on from that, if I had a client that was bodybuilding or competing in a fitness show, they would often expect a level of meticulousness because they were trying to get down to ultra low levels of body fat. But if you take someone who's at a higher level of body fat, who's new to the gym, that just wants a little bit of encouragement with like healthier nutrition, healthier nutrition options, going straight into calorie tracking is like very extreme straight away. So for me, what we're kind of saying is it's a tool. And it has risks and it has benefits. So some people can enjoy the meticulous nature. Some people don't like the meticulous nature. And it can depend on things like initial starting point, someone's psychological profile, whether they enjoy that or not, someone's goal. If they want to compete bodybuilding wise, they might have to push their body to the extremes physically and psychologically, whereas other people might not need that.
So going back to answer the first part of the question, to do we track? Actually, neither of us do. I haven't tracked in going on 5 years now. And because I don't have any strict fat loss goals or anything like that, I'm happy to just roughly maintain. And there's really no need for me to be extra meticulous.
Yeah, and for me, part of the reason that I never tracked is even when I was dieting down to low levels of body fat for photo shoots, is I didn't think it was a good psychological fit for me. So something about weighing everything that I ate, if I took tracking to that level where I was weighing everything, I think I'd get to the point where I didn't want to eat foods that I didn't know the precise macronutrient values of. So for me, I thought that was a floodgate that wasn't worth opening. But when you tracked, you said that you found it was beneficial.
At the time it was fine because I was I think in my head, because I am already more petite, I have that much less wiggle room to where a 300 calorie discrepancy can mean the difference between shedding body fat and accidentally maintaining when I'm trying to lean out. So for a period of time, I was mentally okay with tracking, whereas now it's just not needed for me at this point.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is, when it comes to should you track your calories, keep in mind that there isn't necessarily one way to track calories. You can do it more meticulously, you can do it much more loosely.
Yeah.
And it's worth factoring in someone's psychological profile, if they enjoy tracking in the first place, someone's goal, someone's starting point, someone's knowledge of nutrition. And keep in mind that it's a tool to keep in the toolbox. You don't have to get everyone doing it, and you don't have to discourage everyone from doing it. Use it where it's appropriate.